Hello and welcome to Midwich TV. I'm Louis Robinson and today we're going to be taking a look down here at Innovation House at the latest and greatest from D10. Let's jump inside and take a look. Later on in the video, I will be joined by a special guest. However, while we wait for him to arrive, I thought we'd take the opportunity to look at our Zoom room where we have a lot of D10 set up and on demonstration. Behind me, we have the D7 55-inch mounted on a trolley so we can wheel it around to showcase a flexible video conferencing solution. Moving to the middle of the room, we have D10's Go and Mate setup, which is a perfect way of turning a standard screen into an interactive video conferencing space. Moving to the end of the room, we have the 75-inch D7 and below it, the 27-inch D10 Me Pro, which is a personalized device to sit on your desk, or it can double up as a virtual receptionist, which is exactly what we're using in our reception here at Innovation House. We're here now then in the Microsoft Teams room at Innovation House, and I'm joined by Andrew. Andrew, welcome to the building.
Hi, thanks very much for having me. I always love coming to Innovation House. I think just quite simply because you've got so many of our D10 devices here, and it's a great location for our partners to bring their end customers to try out the devices.
It's definitely one of our best assets here, Innovation House, and I love being here. I spend most of my time here, so I'll never say no against coming down. Before we dive into products though, for anyone who doesn't know D10, can you give us the journey? Because we're obviously here to talk about what's behind us.
Of course.
But I'd like to set the scene a little bit. So can you take us from where maybe you started to why we've got to this now?
Yeah, of course. We really are super excited to talk to you about the Microsoft Teams certification. But I suppose before that, it's probably worthwhile just to give our viewers a bit of background behind D10. So we are quite a young company, headquartered in San Jose over in California. And when the company started, we really had one key goal. We wanted to improve the meeting room experience. So in the early days, and this is where most people know D10, is we partnered with Zoom. That soon evolved into an investment, and Zoom tasked D10 to go out and build an all-in-one plug-and-play video endpoint. So we've really built quite a big name for ourselves within the Zoom arena for the simplicity of our devices, the ease of use, and the ease of managing the devices. And we obviously had quite a major milestone last month where we announced our Teams certification. I think a key part of that Microsoft Teams certification is we need to bring out our next generation of devices. So a lot of people will know the D10 D7. Well, now we've gone on to the D10 D7X. X stands for cross-platform, and I think that's probably what we're going to talk most about. Often the easiest way to describe something is actually jump straight into it. So again, we are obsessing over easy to deploy. So hardware, when you're deploying hardware, not only has it got to be empowering for the end user, it's got to be super intuitive, but start off with easy to deploy. It gives you that element of flexibility as well, and I'll dig into that. I say empowering and intuitive. So when you walk into a meeting room where you've got an all-in-one device as an MTR, you want it to be immediately intuitive. But at the same time, something we found is that people want to be a lot more inclusive. And what I mean by inclusive, we're all adapting to this new hybrid way of working. Yeah. You want to make sure that you get an even experience for those participants that are joining remote and those that are in the room. So we've really built that into the D10 devices. But just to tell you a little bit more about the kit. So this is the D7X Android Edition 55-inch device. What I'll do is I'm just going to open up a quick whiteboard because it's often an easy way to explain a bit more about the hardware. I'll try not to get too technical or just to give a higher level overview. But up at the top here, you've got a 4K camera built into it. You've got that 15 microphone array. And by the way, those microphones work up to 12 meters. The official certification is it's certified up to 6 meters as an MTR into a medium-sized room. You've also got built-in speakers around the back there. And without getting too technical, you have a little OPS module built into it. That module that's built in, key reason why I'm flagging that is you then got inclusive ports. So things like HDMI input and output, that is built into the device. So when you're in a meeting or if you just want to screen share, Likewise, it's a Teams room, so you can wirelessly screen share straight onto it as well, just through Cast. Something we've absolutely done, which we haven't had available on the rest of the D10 range, is with the D7X, is we've added a USB-C cable for BYOD. So as it stands right now, this device, if it's provisioned as a Zoom endpoint, it has full BYOD capabilities. At the moment, Teams or MTR does not yet support it. It's kind of an indication that the hardware is built a little bit ahead of where the platform is able to deliver. So as soon as Microsoft release the full BYOD capabilities, the hardware is already ready for it. And I think one of the ports worth highlighting is it also has a USB-A. What that means is Microsoft have just announced that they're going to introduce multicam.
Nice.
So
That's interesting.
Multicam is something that we love to talk about, because I talk about our devices being as simple as you want them to be, or as adaptable as you need. So you could use it as it is right now. It's an all-in-one on a cart, and you know what? I've got a single power cable there. So I could unplug it from one location, wheel it into another room, plug it in again. Within 60 seconds, it boots up, automatically rejoins the network, signs itself back into the MTR, and it's ready to go.
And that's something we do a lot here at Innovation House. This place is a really functioning, flexible space, upstairs and downstairs. So having the ability to do just one cable, unplug, wheel it to the other side of the building, plug it in, and get a meeting up and running again, for us is invaluable, because like I say, it's so flexible in here. We need the ability to do that quickly.
Yeah, it's something that many of our customers just use our devices like that. Yeah, it includes a wall mount bracket in the box, so ideally you'd put it on a wall if it's in a more permanent setting. So I suppose we're kind of accidentally talking about different use cases. So mounted on the wall, it's a perfect meeting room. You've got big microphone pickup ranges, so it's been very popular in hybrid learning, because the teacher no longer has to walk around with a lapel mic. They can wander around, you can pick them up from all over the place. That adaptability. So although the device hardware already supports it, multiple cameras, Microsoft haven't released it yet, it's coming. As soon as it does, it means that you can plug in a back of the room camera. Alternatively, and something that's really popular, is if you use those analog whiteboards, traditional whiteboard where,
the old way of doing things.
of course, where you need to put a document camera on, plug it in. You'll be able to have that as well.
Nice. So again, it goes back to that piece of, like I said, it's nice to see D10 investing in the future and thinking about those additional ports that are coming with future software releases from a Microsoft perspective to really utilize the platform in different ways again.
Absolutely, it's always been our ethos, and I suppose D10 will continue to evolve and develop our products as well. So right now the 55-inch is certified, the 75-inch Android is also lined up for certification. We're going through certification for the 55-inch and 75-inch Windows devices, and one particular is the tablet. So the D10 Mate, I know in the Zoom world, people love the fact that you can have it either wireless or PoE. The PoE will get certification first, but at least you know that that tablet is also going through certification. So you can then have a controller. Don't get me wrong, you don't need a controller. Good thing about a D10 device is controller from the screen. I mean, if I want to jump into a meeting, I jump into a meeting.
Oh, hello, John. This is your first time getting a moment of fame.
So I've just jumped straight into a meeting. I was sharing a whiteboard at the time, so it reloads that whiteboard. It is up there. You can zoom in and zoom out of the whiteboard, etc. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to close the whiteboard. And as I close it, it just keeps the video open.
I was going to say, John was a bit upset then because he was getting a moment of fame and then we put him back in the corner. Now you've got your time to shine.
There you go. And I suppose that actually highlights something else. So, we've got that 4K camera that's built into it. Right now, I've got auto framing enabled. So what it does, it automatically looks at face and shoulders in the room and frames around everybody. I could turn on smart framing. So smart framing, talking about inclusiveness, what smart framing effectively does, it gives you individual headshots of each person in the room. It gives the far end participants a much more inclusive feel.
Let's jump out of the meeting, and can you show us again from that piece of how easy it is for someone to walk into a room and just be comfortable with the layout? As we can see here, that is a very familiar layout.
Of course, and that's the thing, we obsess over easy to deploy. Most importantly, easy to use. and also easy to manage. The easy to use bit, it's something we always love about D10 devices, especially because of the interactive screens. So you walk in, you immediately get greeted by an MTR interface. From there, any pre-scheduled meetings, it's in your calendar and you get a one-click to join experience. Likewise, you could meet now, dial out to somebody. In the next Teams release, you'll also have a join button that will appear, so that's coming very soon. Alternatively, if you wanted to whiteboard, as I did earlier, I opened up a whiteboard, and what that does is it loads the Microsoft Teams whiteboard. It's obviously got to collect it from SharePoint first, so it takes a couple of seconds to load. With whiteboard, there's all of the standard Teams features built into whiteboard, so you can go for templates, pop up a template, add post-it notes, things like that. It really is designed to be super intuitive. The one thing that, I'm just going to stop that whiteboard, go back to the beginning. So go back to the beginning. So share, if you want to share, click share. What it does, it tells me I don't have an HDMI plugged in. If I was to plug an HDMI in, I could share content. In fact, it does it automatically. And anybody that's familiar with using Teams, you know you've got a cast button on your Teams client. Click cast. It will recognize the device through proximity or Bluetooth, and you can then choose to share your screen that way. So it's designed to be as intuitive as possible. So we now offer devices for almost every environment. And it's the same device. You know, this device could be provisioned as a Zoom endpoint. In fact, the user journey at boot up, when you first boot up the device, at install, you get a choice of do you go Zoom or do you go Teams. Once it's provisioned, it will automatically default into that. So we've got a device for a Zoom room. We've got the device for Microsoft Teams, and it's also built to support BYOD, just to cater for almost every eventuality.
That's a nice feature too, BYOD, because it's been something that's been chucked around for a while now. Back in the days when we used to talk about standard-based video conferencing and how people would interact with that, and then we had that bridge between just sharing content, and then we had that, how do we use every platform in one place? What do we do? BYOD seemed like a nice way to go. So having that feature now, one USB-C cable?
A single USB-C cable. Good thing about that USB-C cable is not only does it give you access to the camera, the microphone and speakers, it also pulls back touch. So you can control your laptop from the screen. And as an added bonus, it also charges your laptop at 65 watts. Nice.
That's a lot of information. Is there anything else that I might not be remembering to ask you that we want to get into the video for people?
I think the key bit is, I've probably shared way more than you were asking. I think the key bit's obsessing over end user experience. Our devices are available. Midwich have them in stock right now, so our partners can order. Demos, we do arrange online demos if required. Bring customers down to Innovation House. They have D10 devices in different scenarios and different setups so they can test it out. And we also offer that try before you buy option. So we would send out a brand new device to an end customer to test for up to 30 days. At the end, they purchase it through their preferred partner. If they decide they don't want to keep it, we just ask them to send it back to us.
Amazing. Well, like you say then, lots of information there, so I think this is a good point for us to wrap up. As Andrew said, there's multiple ways that you can get demos of this kit, but one thing we'll always push is getting yourself booked in and coming down to Innovation House so you can get your hands on the kit down here. If you're interested in doing that, ucc@midwich.com, send us across an email and we can get you booked in, or alternatively, get hold of your account manager. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and to keep up to date with all of the latest content here on Midwich TV, hit that bell notification icon. I'm Louis, I've been joined by Andrew. Cheers for joining us, mate.
Thanks for having me.
We'll catch you in the next video.